guys, welcome to my channel. I want to show you how you can improve it as an artist. This video is only one way in many, so as you follow along, choose what works for you. And if you've done any of the following, know that I've made all of these mistakes too. If you like this video, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and let that YouTube algorithm know that you want to see more like this. So let's jump right in with me, Rob Newman.
This video is all about the do's and don'ts of drawing a realistic eye. I'm going to be drawing using this Canson paper along with Faber-Castell graphite pencils. Starting with the don'ts, it's not using a reference photo. Drawing what you might imagine an eye to be, and typically it can be an oval shape with a full circle for the iris and the pupil, and making the spokes of the eye look like a wagon wheel. And I'm pressing down very hard to outline everything in the drawing. Starting with the shading, there's nothing wrong with going straight to the dark of the pupil. Just be sure that when you commit, you know it's in the right place. Adding variety is a great thing, but without a reference, it can be a bit of a guessing game and just hoping things kind of fall in place. Here I'm drawing the eyelashes and eyebrows, all with the same shape, spacing and direction. Now, shading with your fingers is useful, but it can get some really inconsistent results with shading, and you can see here your fingers can leave oils behind on the surface of the paper. If you press down really hard on a pencil, it can be really hard to blend it out. And as you can see, coming in with the paper stump, pressing down really hard with a pencil makes blending that area a real challenge to get smooth results. As well as pressing down hard, making uneven shading makes it really difficult to get those smooth results for realistic drawing. And trying to make the white of the eye white is a very common mistake. It can make the eye very unrealistic. A really big one is just these back and forth motions. They can leave these kind of stop and start marks over the paper. Another very common one is just outlining the outside of the iris, just as dark as possible. And I'm going to finish this don't drawing right here. Now, I did this don't drawing with just this HB pencil, but you can totally do a decent drawing with just one pencil. What we do want to do is take full advantage of the range of grades available to us. So in the do video, I'm going to be using this H, 2B and 4B pencils, together with this 9XXB to really get those darks. For this drawing, instead of my finger, I'm going to use a brush, a stump and some handy andies. Some luxury soft handy andies. To make things a little easier, I'm going to use my Swordfish electric sharpener. Now, my Kimberly 9XXB won't actually fit in that electric sharpener, so I'm going to use this Faber-Castell sharpener, which is a portable, easy grip and affordable sharpener that's been part of my pencil case for years. Now, let's begin this do video, and the most important thing is to get a really good reference photo. I'm starting with a 2B pencil. Now, as a beginner, I can't recommend it enough to just take your time to make a really good sketch to begin with. Stay as light as possible. The point is to gradually build these things up over time in layers. Building a base layer here, a tone for which to build everything up on, and you'll see that coming with the tissue here just to blend it and smooth it out. So I have a light pressure, building up things in layers, and I have full control. Can rub things out very easily if I need to. Switching the tissue up with a brush, as brushes are much more versatile with the different types of hair and get into smaller areas. And I like to use the paper stump to get into those even smaller areas I can't using the brush. Now that I've got a base layer down and I'm confident of where things are placed, I'm coming in with the details, starting from the center and working my way out. In my opinion, here is why the Tombow Mono pen eraser is the best on the market, because it can pull out the finest lines and details. Here I'm coming in with my 4B pencil to build up the darks in layers. Now, as always, there's many ways of doing things, so you can build it up gradually, or I recommend you to lay the darkest dark down quickly so you can begin to compare and match values much more easily. And to do this, I'm using a general charcoal pencil. And using charcoal also allows me to avoid graphite shine. You may even want to have some areas that shine. But for the most part, it can really get in the way of realistic drawing and displaying your art from different angles. This happens mainly due to pressing down hard and burnishing the surface of the paper, and has as much to do with how you apply the graphite as the paper you use. Now, you can get around this by using a pencil with higher carbon content or using charcoal. And I love using charcoal for this very reason. So get a good sketch down from the beginning, and you're going to find these stages a lot easier. So if you're going to spend a lot of time on drawing, you don't want to figure out later that you have to change things completely. So have a good sketch, work things out from the beginning, and this stage is going to be a lot more enjoyable. Now, the video is clearly sped up. I don't draw this fast, but I'm really taking my time. Realistic drawing just takes time. I mean, the more care, attention, and effort you put in, the better the results. And gradually building things up will give you a much better finish to the drawing. Now, check out the white of the eye that's in the shadow. If you compare it with the highlight in the eye, you can clearly see that the white of the eye is considerably darker. Study your reference closely and match those values. Now, you want plenty of contrast in a drawing. It's going to make it pop and really stand out, but the thing that's going to hold the viewer, especially when it got up close, is the subtle tones. There's a lot of information in the halftones that are between the light and the shadow. So practice your light touch, work on those subtle tones. Don't forget those harder grade pencils. They're going to make lighter shading a lot easier. I recommend for beginners this circular motion. It's going to be much easier to get a very consistent level of shading, and if you are able to get consistent shading, it's going to make your blending so much easier. So smooth shading is going to make smooth blending for a better result. Here's a quick tip: turn your pencil into a chisel tip. One side will have flatter contact with the paper while still having a sharp point. So checking out the eyelashes now, and rather than being uniform, you can see that they have a lot of variety. So directions, angles, the way they sweep up, the way some are spaced out but others are grouped together. You'll see that I'm starting light and then I'll work on those darker layers later. But as I'm just kind of mapping in these eyelashes to get their position, I just want to make sure I stay light so that I can correct them easily when I need to. So over the lighter layer, I'm sweeping in with my darker pencil. I'm really building up the darker values now. First, I like using a 2B and then a 4B over the top. I really want to start to find the true value now, and then coming over with the 9xxb again in a third layer with the lashes to get real definition to those lashes. So at this point I'm sharpening that pencil to a fine point to get the fine definition in those hairs. Now having the blunt pencil can be useful sometimes. Even in the start of the drawing and for getting certain qualities, but when you're heading for detail, having a sharp point is very important. And notice like other details here, like a waterline in the eye, that's very important. A lot of these things that are present in the reference you want to make sure are in. You may have even noticed that I used the pen eraser to start drawing out some of the eyelashes, some of the light of the eyelash, and coming in also again with the same technique of lighter lashes first, then darker ones over the top. I really messed up here. I forgot to press record this time and the eyebrows kind of pop out of nowhere. The key thing to remember about the eyebrow is the variety in direction, just like the eyelashes, and then working from light to dark. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It's my mission to bring you the best videos that I can make on learning to draw and paint. Help support this channel, and as always, I hope you learned something.